The unhappy Nightingale. I am a beautiful nightingale. I lived in a beautiful ranch. I am not sure how much you know about nightingales. We are like sparrows, but are bigger than they are. We have beautiful crests. We fly quickly in space, and we are known for the nice sounds we produce when we sing. I spent many happy days at the ranch. God blessed me with a young one, and I became a mother. The days passed nicely until one day a man came into the ranch. I was flying from branch to branch, singing happily, unaware of what was going to happen. The man gazed at the trees. Then he came near my nest, extended his hand, and took my young one. My baby was shouting and calling me to save him. But how can a weak bird like me face a strong man like him? I flew over the man's head to see where he would go with my young one. He went to his friends and showed them the little bird he had caught. I got him from a nest in the ranch, he told them. The man seemed proud of what he had done, not realizing the grief he had brought me. Then I saw someone coming whose face radiated light and love for others. I recognized him as the messenger of God. I had seen him before and knew that he was kind to all creatures. I decided to ask him for help. I flew around him and made sad sounds. The Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam knew that I had a problem. When I flapped my wings, he knew my request. His friends were surprised at what I was doing. The Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam turned to them. Which one of you has distressed this bird by taking its young? The Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam asked. The man came forward. I did, he said. I took its young. Have mercy on this bird and give her back the young one, said the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. It's distressful for a mother to be separated from her baby. So the man went back to the ranch and neared my nest. He placed the young one back into the nest and walked away. I was so happy to have my baby back again. I was grateful to the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, thanked God that I had seen him in time to save my little one. Moral: kindness to animals. Respect for all creation. Work hard for yourself. The old camel. I am an old camel. I had worked for my owner for many years. I spent my life in his service. I carried his loads from one land to another. Before I became old, I used all my strength for him. We spent many hours together on journeys, carrying loads on my back. We would go through the burning desert, my feet carrying him wherever he wanted to go. But when I became old, my owner decided to slaughter me and sell my meat. I was very sad to know that. I began to think of how I could save myself. How can he be so unfeeling? I asked myself. Does he not have any loyalty? I wondered how I could save myself. If I stayed in his house, he would certainly slaughter me. So I went away, out of the city and into the desert. On the way, I met the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. I knew he was a very kind man with a lot of love and respect for all creatures. I knew he would understand my sorrow. I came up to him and sat near his feet. The Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam understood that I was distressed. Since I was old, he knew it was to do with the fact that I could not be of service anymore. He patted me on my head and took me to my owner. The Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam asked the owner if he could buy me from him. I will give you whatever price you want, said the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. This camel seems very sad, and I would like to make him happy. I will buy him from you and set him free. The owner was surprised. You don't need to buy him from me. I will give him as a present to you, he said. He felt honored that the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam wanted his camel. So the Prophet, peace be upon him, me free and let me go wherever I wanted. I would always stay close to him. Whenever people saw me, they said, "This is the camel that was saved by the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam of God." Moral: kindness to animals. 2. Respect for all creation. The boy who threw stones at trees. There was a boy who lived in the city of Madinah, who loved the taste of dates. He would do almost anything to enjoy dates fresh from the tree. Just outside the city was a beautiful pool, an oasis. Round the pool there were many palm trees, and on the palm trees grew the dates which the boy loved so much. Each day the boy slipped away from his friends and went by himself to the oasis. There he took out a handful of stones which he had collected during the day. He chose a tree where he could see the dates hanging, ready to eat. Selecting a stone with care, the boy took aim and threw it hard at the tree. With luck, he would hit the tree just right, and a date would fall to the floor, ripe and juicy. Then he would choose another stone and another until lots of dates lay in the sand around, leaning against the tree, and ate his fear of fresh dates. He never thought about the damage he had caused to the trees. He never imagined that the trees might never grow fruit again. At that, they might even die. When the people who owned the trees came to check their fruit, they were very surprised. Each day there were fewer dates to be seen. Each day the trees looked less and less healthy. They decided to watch the trees for a whole day to see what was happening. They were curious when the boy arrived to throw his stones and eat his dates. They were angry when they saw what he was doing to the beautiful trees. No wonder they did not look healthy. The owners stepped out of their hiding place and took hold of the boy. He was surprised and a little frightened. They were angry and a little confused. They did not know what to do. "Let's take him to Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam," one said. "He will know what is right." Standing in front of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, the boy was afraid. He was usually very well behaved and had never been in serious trouble before. But he did love fresh dates, and it was easy to knock them out of the branches with stones. Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam looked at the boy. He spoke very quietly because he was not angry. He could tell that the boy loved dates so much that he did not think about damage he had caused to the trees. "Why do you throw stones at trees? Don't you know it hurts them?" The boy said he was sorry. He had not thought about the trees. He only thought about the delicious taste of the dates. "Why don't you wait," said Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, "until the dates are really ripe and fall from the trees themselves? They will taste even better." The boy smiled. He could still enjoy his dates. The trees would stay healthy and grew more dates next year. And sure enough, the boy found that the dates he picked up from the sand, the trees tasted wonderful. Moral: 1. Respect for nature. 2. Respect for other people's wealth and property. It was a usual meeting. The Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was in his place in the mosque of Madinah, and his companions gathered around him to hear the words of wisdom and guidance. A rich person dressed in clean and elegant clothes arrived in the presence of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and sat down before him. A short while later, a poor person wearing old and tattered clothes appeared, saluted the assembly. "Salamun alaikum," peace be on you, and finding a vacant place comfortably sat down. The Prophet, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, had taught them that all Muslims were brothers, and in an assembly one should sit wherever one finds a place, regardless of any status. Now it so happened that this poor man was seated next to a very rich man. The rich man felt very disturbed and tried to collect the edges of his dress around himself so that the poor man didn't touch them. Having observed this, the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was very disturbed. Later he called the rich man aside and asked him why he had behaved the way he did. "Did you fear that the poor person next to you might make your clothes dirty?" "No," replied the rich person. "Then why did you behave so?" asked the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. "I admit that was the most undesirable thing to do. It was an error, and I confess my guilt. I have a companion, soul, that makes good deeds appear evil to me and vice versa. O Prophet of Allah, as a punishment for this reprehensible act of mine, I gift half of my wealth to the poor man." Turning to the poor man, the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam inquired, "Do you accept the offer?" "No, O Prophet of Allah," said the poor man. People present were taken by surprise. They thought that the poor man was a fool, but then he explained, "O Prophet of Allah, I refuse to accept this offer because I fear that I might then become arrogant and ill-treat my Muslim brothers the way he did to me." Moral: arrogance and discrimination against others is highly disliked. 2. Small gestures reveal what is felt by the heart. Hey, amazing my YouTube family! Thank you for watching Spiritual Miracle Tales. We hope these stories have touched your heart and inspired your soul. If you enjoyed our content, please subscribe to our channel and share these tales with your friends and family. Your support helps us bring more uplifting and miraculous stories to the community. May peace and blessings be upon you. Stay tuned for more inspiring tales. Don't forget to like, comment, and spread the love.